The first one is fire, as I've already mentioned. If there is a fire or the alarm goes off in any situation in the building, our assembly point is just across the road by the terrace of houses on Bridge Street, and we meet there, and everybody will sign in to every workshop, so we'll be able to check people off there. The fire exits, there is a fire exit out of this door here. You can see everything's going to be very clearly marked with signs. There is no entry to the public through that kitchen door, but there is a door out the back. When we do the tour, you'll see there's a heavy workshop and there's a fire exit that way if need be. Also, you could go out that door, which will bring you into another room here and out the way you came in. This blue door is also a fire door. So we've got the slidey door, the blue door, and then there's a door by the heavy workshop. They're the three main doors out of this building, so just be aware of that and marshal people
Which
if need be.
ones are flat access for disabled people?
The slidey door. Yes, slidey door.
One.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, the others have got stairs, so but I think there is a ramp that we could potentially put down if needed. That's fine. And then the meeting points over there. Fire extinguishers are generally in every room. There's one in this space, there's one in the kitchen, there's one next door. So just be aware of where they are. They're generally by the fire doors where the fire points are there, but I have written where they all are on your checklist as well. There's telephone is here, and there's also one in the bobbin. So if you do need to make an emergency call, that's where the telephones are. You just press 9 to dial out to any external number. You can dial internally, but I don't think you need to do that. First aid box is in the kitchen, clearly labelled, with an accident book as well, so you can, really important that we record any cases, even a little nick with the secateurs or a splinter with the willow, that we do fill in that book. If you're not comfortable doing that, then please make sure you come and see one of the workshop leaders. That generally will be myself, Francis, Rachel, Mary, Sheila over here, Andy, will be the main sort of workshop leaders who will know all this and be more than happy to fill out the accident slip if you would prefer. In terms of first aid, I have been asking you, what first aid qualification? Just so we've got a bit of an audit of who is working on what shift, who is the qualified first aiders. Myself and Jill are, so if there isn't anybody else within the team that are, Jill will be in the building to do any first aid if required. Where are we now? So, yeah, in case of an accident though, make sure you stay with the person. If it's a child that's injured, go and find their guardian or parents. They should be close by. No child under the age of 13 is to be left unattended in the workshops, so please go and find them to be with their child. Get someone to contact the workshop leader and the on-call first aider. We're going to have a list in our little sort of staff room, if you like, with all the first aiders that we've nominated and their telephone number, and it'll just be in there, so I'll show you that when we do the tour. And then decide whether you need to make that 999 call or apply first aid. If serious, don't move them, and just make them as comfortable as possible. Try and find somewhere quiet if it is possible to move them. Make sure they're comfortable, be sympathetic, provide friendly care, offer help and a cup of tea, it says here. And, but obviously no drink or food to the person if they've got a fracture, as an anaesthetic might be necessary. And offer to contact anyone else if they need that. Don't be critical or comment on the cause. Any accident, however trivial, should be recorded in the accident book, and an assessment of what happened will need to be made and follow up afterwards, showing care and concern. So hanging lanterns can also be a bit of a danger. We are going to have some hanging from the lighting because I think it will make the space look really nice. But also we're going to hang some in the media room and any other structures downstairs in the cellars that we've got here. But no one is to hang the lanterns up except for the workshop staff, and no one is to go up a ladder except for Jill, Andy or Sky. So the Burton family are really putting their own lives at risk of going up a ladder. And that's an insurance thing, so please don't get up a ladder, just ask Jill, Andy or Sky who should be here, and we'll happily skip up the ladders for you. Wet floors. If you see any glue or water on the floor, this floor will be covered in plastic for Lantern Week. So if you see any substance on the floor, please mop it up immediately. There'll be a danger water sign just in the kitchen lobby there. Put that out because that's really important for insurance as well. Mop it up immediately. There'll be a mop bucket just in the kitchen, so you can use that there. Soaking willow is located on the balcony. So it's quite handy for the rainwater and getting rid of any water because we go straight onto the river. You can go out and have a look at that in a bit. And really only the staff and if a volunteer, if you've been asked to do so, to go out there. Absolutely no access to the public out there. It'll let all the warm air out anyway as soon as we open the doors. And we will soak the willow in there, and that'll sort of be on a timely rota of making sure there's enough soaked willow for everyone to use. Behaviour, so any inappropriate behaviour regarding the use of willow or secateurs should be dealt with immediately. So anybody jabbing or making little swords out of the sticks, which is inevitably going to happen, try and turn them into magic wands. And the secateurs as well, we have been through them, but some of them are in a little bit of a sorry state. We have sort of sieved all those ones out, haven't we? We are encouraging people to bring their own, but we do have a stock of secateurs, but just be really careful with those because they are obviously sharp implements. Hand washing, really important to wash your hands if you're going to eat anything after handling the willow. It is a plant, it has fibrous qualities, doesn't it? I'm not quite sure what it is that comes off your hands, but sometimes it can get a bit foosty. Best to wash your hands with the willow before eating anything, and we will tell everybody participating in the workshops to do so. PVA glue is what we use with covering. Again, that has its own dangers in inhalation, ingestion, fluids, skin contact. Some people might be sensitive to it. It is the school one, water-based. There isn't anything too nasty in there, but it is glue. So just being aware of that. Contact with eye, make sure that it's washed out. There's all the guidance on there about that. Workshop opening times, there's to be no public lantern making to take place during lunchtime or out of hours of the workshop, so we've got to stick to that. We have gone for a 2.5 hour window, which is ample time. Sometimes our workshops are only 2 hours, so people should be just working to that really. We're not going to be letting anyone in early or letting them stay on after that time because our workshops are quite tightly packed. And then safeguarding, which, as I say, we've got an 8-page policy on this, so please look over it when I email it out. But in essence, all the workshop staff are DBS to the enhanced disclosure. I've asked anyone as a volunteer if you have DBS, so I'll have a record of that as well. But other than that, it is absolutely imperative that you're not one-to-one with anybody really, but particularly children. So please don't put yourself in that situation. Children should be coming with their responsible adult. So in the end, they should be with their child. If you do find yourself where you are in the corridor and there's a child there, just walk back in and just say, oh, someone's just on, and get someone to go with you, so you're just not in that vulnerable situation. If you witness anything you think something's wrong or just doesn't feel right or sit right with you at all, and just a concern that you might have, it might be nothing, but it's everybody's responsibility to safeguard young people and vulnerable adults and everybody. We do have a form which we'll keep with the workshop leader, and you can come in and fill that out, and we'll pass it on to our designated safeguarding lead, which is Sky Burton Smith. He's a very experienced head teacher of school, so he knows all the policies and the ins and outs and the procedures and how that can be dealt with. So absolutely anything you think, actually that just doesn't seem quite right, I've witnessed something that I need to report, please do report that. We'll have his number, it's actually upon the watershed anyway there, for anybody to call directly if you wanted to speak directly to you, and that would be fine. Or you can write it down and we'll immediately pass it on to him. If in Ewan's absence, if you can't get through to him, Jill is also a designated safeguarding officer for the watershed, so she was floating around, but I'll introduce you to her as well. Or just come and tell the workshop leader, because we can pass that information on. The crucial thing with that is if you do have something to report, that you do it straight away. And if it happens that something happened that day in the workshop and you've slipped out of your head or you've gone home and you remember about it, please contact us out of hours. We would much rather be able to move that forward than it being left to the next day. So have a look at safeguarding policy. If you've got any questions about it, just give me an email and we can go over that then. I think that is everything in terms of health and safety, covering all those points. If you've got any questions about any of the points I've just made, come and speak to me today, or when I've emailed you the full extensive policies, feel free to give me a call or email if you've got any other questions. Is there any immediate questions on that now?